Drop everything, a massive, case-shattering development just exploded regarding the vanishing of Nancy Guthrie. Halt your scrolling right this second, because a massive bombshell just detonated across Arizona over the past 24 hours. This sudden twist is completely paralyzing anyone who has kept tabs on this entire saga. Before wild speculation spreads like wildfire and online sleuths jump to baseless conclusions without a shred of concrete proof, I am delivering the hard facts, decoding police chatter, and meticulously analyzing the forensics on day 57 of this hunt. A major incident completely flipped the script early Saturday morning, March 28th, 2026. A local pedestrian was taking a casual stroll by a waterway bordering Indian Bend and Hayden Roads in Scottsdale when they glanced down and spotted a horrifying discovery floating there, a deceased adult female, prompting an immediate 911 response. First responders quickly teamed up with both the Salt River Project and the Central Arizona Project, because those two entities oversee the state aqueduct systems and were needed to hoist the victim out. Local investigators alongside forensic technicians secured the entire perimeter, bagged crucial clues, and photographed every single inch. Maricopa County mortuary officials eventually transported the deceased away, officially launching a formal homicide inquiry. Right now, Jane Doe remains completely nameless, but the second that news dropped online, a singular identity blew up everywhere. That specific name is Nancy Guthrie. Whenever our minds fixate on an 84-year-old missing matriarch for 57 torturous days, subconscious leaps in logic happen constantly. Nobody can prevent those thoughts from forming, especially since certain coincidences are aligning a little too perfectly right now. However, my coverage cuts through that toxic echo chamber completely. I will never push an emotional narrative before presenting undeniable truth, choosing instead to guide you through verified timelines. Once this breakdown concludes, you will fully grasp the exact events that unfolded inside that specific Scottsdale waterway, alongside realizing exactly how it impacts the broader mystery and what theories must be permanently discarded. Keep watching closely, because in roughly 4 minutes I will reveal a massive paradigm shift that requires this foundational context. Here is the unedited press release issued by local law enforcement on March 28th. Authorities have launched a fatality inquiry following the extraction of a mature female corpse from an aqueduct on March 28th. Emergency responders rushed to that location near 8 a.m. because a passing hiker spotted human remains floating freely. Law enforcement and paramedics worked alongside state utilities to extract the victim and kickstart the forensic examination. Specialized sleuths and evidence technicians arrived promptly to gather critical artifacts and meticulously map out the zone. Owing strictly to the advanced decomposition state, detectives cannot immediately verify any visible physical trauma. Pause right there to deeply analyze that phrasing about her condition. Within policing circles, that handful of vocabulary holds immense, unmistakable weight. It indicates prolonged exposure to aquatic elements, making it literally impossible to deduce a fatality trigger just by looking, meaning scars or wounds simply blend in, forcing the coroner to perform an exhaustive autopsy to uncover any hidden truths. Autopsies demand extreme patience, which feels agonizing when hunting for an 84-year-old victim. Given she has vanished without a trace for 57 days, this waiting period is going to feel absolutely excruciating. Over on the social platform X, the official department update garnered thousands of rapid-fire replies almost instantly, and one particular user perfectly summarized the collective anxiety of the masses by typing, "Part of me prays this is her, while another part prays it isn't." Law enforcement actually fired back with a precise rebuttal, currently lacking any visible ties to the missing Guthrie mystery. Listen to me very closely on this next point, because the general public's interpretation is fundamentally flawed here. How everyday citizens digest that phrase versus its actual operational definition inside a precinct are worlds apart. Lacking an obvious link does not automatically rule out a hidden overlap, so let that sink in deeply. The word apparent merely dictates what is visible based purely on present knowledge, acting as a highly calculated legal disclaimer. It never shuts down the possibility completely. Rather, it just paints a picture of the current hour instead of writing the final chapter. Meanwhile, the Pima County Sheriff's Department actually spearheads the primary manhunt for the missing matriarch, They dropped their own press release stating they have zero intelligence linking the fresh corpse to their ongoing puzzle. Hearing zero intelligence strictly means no official paperwork has crossed their desks linking both files together. That quote solely addresses the bureaucratic communication pipeline, completely avoiding the ultimate question of whether a true overlap hides beneath the surface. Detectives are currently trapped in a brutal gray area. They cannot prove a link exists, but they absolutely cannot rule one out yet. The map is what makes this truly unsettling. As Nancy Guthrie vanished from her residence nestled in the Catalina foothills on the edge of Tucson, meanwhile, authorities pulled this unidentified female from a waterway way up in Scottsdale, right around the intersection of Indian Bend and Hayden. You are looking at a driving gap of roughly 115 miles, separating those two locations. In typical vanishing investigations, a spread of 115 miles would instantly crush any theories linking the events. Detectives usually would not bother checking. Yet one massive shift alters how we view that stretch. Federal agents relocated their main headquarters from Tucson straight to Phoenix. This is an absolute fact, verified by network journalists via inside police contacts. Officially chalked up to logistical needs regarding tech analysis. They claim pulling cell data, tracking bank movements, and scrubbing surveillance footage runs just as smoothly out of the Phoenix branch as it did down south. However, picking that specific metropolis was hardly an accident. That city serves as the state's ultimate transit vein, boasting Interstate 10, Interstate 17, and Sky Harbor, which ranks among the most frantic flight centers in the Southwest. Should a perpetrator want to transport a captive away from Pima County on the evening of February 1st? The smartest escape route slices right through the heart of Maricopa County. That specific suburb falls perfectly along that path, merely 20 minutes away from the downtown epicenter. Yet almost everyone is entirely overlooking a massive piece of the puzzle regarding the grim find made yesterday. Federal agents based in that city hold direct authority over Maricopa County, which happens to be the precise territory where this corpse surfaced. Consequently, the exact same federal squad managing the technological and monetary sweeps for the vanished woman. These investigators are legally overseeing the waterway death scene in Scottsdale, regardless of any actual ties. Those specific investigators are perfectly placed to dig into those parallels at this very moment. Proving this map overlap is no mere fluke. Pay attention here. We have to review the background. As this marks the second instance in March 2026 alone where a drowned female sparked these intense rumors, the initial scare hit the Grand Canal Trail early in the month, immediately sending the missing grandmother's name trending across digital platforms. Medical examiners eventually named the victim as 42-year-old Alex Fleming, definitively ruling out any ties to our primary subject. Prior to that, internet sleuths circulated a massive clip alleging a corpse turned up in a deserted reservoir near Sabino Canyon, a mere 2 miles from Nancy's doorstep. Online chatter claimed there were scuff marks, combat trace, and severe decay pointing to underwater exposure. Countless viewers consumed that clip before anyone bothered verifying it, prompting local deputies to issue a blistering, single-line rebuttal. They stated the footage was completely bogus, noting that neither the corpse nor the reservoir were actually real, which brings up a crucial point. Whenever bogus rumors infect the search efforts, authorities waste valuable time and taxpayer money. Detectives burn precious daylight running down fictional tips rather than hunting actual clues, while inflicting immeasurable emotional damage on her loved ones. Savannah, along with her siblings Annie and Cameron, have endured 57 agonizing days of this nightmare. Each breaking alert, whether authentic or fake, plunges them into 24 to 48 hours of paralyzing panic and bated breath. They end up agonizing over a potential ringtone that might permanently shatter their world. However, the gruesome find up north yesterday shatters the pattern of those previous hoaxes, because this scene is entirely legitimate. We are talking about genuine patrolmen, an actual waterway, a physical corpse, legitimate forensic technicians, and a certified coroner taking possession. You will not find this in some wild app conspiracy or sketchy forum thread. Local authorities have officially launched a homicide probe. Until authorities publicly name that deceased female, the dark mystery gripping the nation remains frustratingly unresolved. Now, let us add professional analysis to the mix. providing an exclusive angle you literally cannot stream on any other channel. Enter Michael Gould, a former lieutenant who honorably served the Nassau County Police Force. He built their tactical dog unit from scratch and helped pioneer the elite canine division in New York City as their chief handler. This veteran dedicated his entire professional life to a single, grueling mission tracking down citizens who vanish into thin air. He sat down for a private interview with our publication while the search was still actively unfolding. A pair of his professional insights map perfectly onto the grim discovery made near the water yesterday. Primarily, after weighing the available evidence against decades of studying countless domestic kidnappings, his expert conclusion paints a bleak picture. He highly doubts the elderly woman lived past the initial 72 hours of her vanishing. And that is not just idle guesswork. His logic stems from brutal clinical realities. Since the 84-year-old struggles with severe cardiovascular issues demanding routine pharmaceutical management, we are talking about an absolutely mandatory, every single day prescription regimen. Local deputies explicitly warned that missing doses for over 24 hours thrusts her into critical danger, and she has currently been gone for 57 agonizing days. Gould dropped a devastating bombshell directly to the Mirror US. Tragically, I strongly suspect Nancy passed away during those initial 72 hours, making this strictly a body recovery mission. Locating a body never truly heals trauma. It merely erases the agonizing mystery of her resting place. While he initially estimated her survival odds below 10%, his grim conviction has only deepened since then. Then came Gould's next critical insight, completely changing our perspective on that 115-mile stretch towards Scottsdale. He pointed out that statistical history proves kidnapped individuals almost always turn up within a surprisingly tight 2 to 5 mile radius. Nancy's remains should realistically be discovered near her residence. We are talking 2 to 5 miles, definitely not 115, and certainly not Scottsdale. This is hard evidence backed by decades of documented kidnappings across America. Unless captives get smuggled out of state or sold into human trafficking rings, perpetrators almost universally dump them right near the initial snatch location. Viewing this immediately as a pre-planned abduction sets off blaring alarm bells. Kidnapping an 84-year-old female suffering from severe health and mobility issues makes zero sense for a standard ransom grab. That blazing logical inconsistency captured my immediate attention. Investigators discovered bloody clues scattered across the porch and interior immediately. Law enforcement officials have consistently labeled the house an incredibly gruesome scene since the start. Therefore, Gould's professional analysis forces us to confront a burning question regarding yesterday's breaking news. Assuming experts expect a 2 to 5 mile radius, how do we interpret the situation if those Scottsdale remains actually belong to Nancy? It would absolutely prove the perpetrators orchestrated a massively complex operation that authorities haven't officially acknowledged. We would be tracking highly organized attackers possessing reliable transportation and meticulous strategy. They also needed the sheer skill to transport an impaired captive 115 miles through Arizona without ever tripping countless surveillance lenses. That means dodging every single toll scanner and residential camera that federal agents spent 8 grueling weeks analyzing. This leads directly to Jennifer Coffin-Daffer, a veteran federal agent, former tactical operator, and media analyst. She recently dropped a thoroughly authenticated social media update. Her sharp eyes caught a tiny detail in the victim's front door surveillance video that completely shatters our previous understanding of the attack. She distinctly noticed a portable radio transmitter protruding from the assailant's clothing. Her analysis stated firmly that the visible attacker absolutely had backup. Pulling off a kidnapping of this magnitude solo is utterly impossible. Spotting that visible antenna proves this crew executed a highly synchronized hit using two-way communication. Multiple perpetrators were definitely involved. Let the tactical implications of that sink in. Analog radios completely bypass modern surveillance, generating zero mobile pings and entirely defeating digital boundary sweeps. That perfectly clarifies why sweeping the neighborhood for active cellular signals during the critical abduction window gave investigators absolutely nothing to work with. Picture a synchronized hit squad. Smuggling a hostage 115 miles suddenly becomes totally viable, whereas a lone wolf would fail. Should these remains belong to Nancy, February 1st completely shatters. Conversely, what if it isn't? Detectives seem to lean that way. meaning Gould's 2 to 5 mile prediction circling the Catalina Highlands stands as our absolute strongest lead. We are talking about rugged ravines and brutal wilderness that notoriously devours evidence, rarely giving up its dark secrets. Let us break down the current state of this manhunt. 57 days in, federal agents processed 23,600 leads since February 1st, pulling 1,500 immediately after dropping the $1 million bounty. Still, 0 public targets and 0 handcuffs. While the local sheriff assured reporters they understand the underlying motive behind this targeted strike, authorities utterly refused to publicly identify their suspect. Recovering genetic material proved frustrating, yielding fragmented samples that created laboratory headaches. Detectives are utilizing advanced ancestral tracking, the exact forensic magic that finally brought down the Golden State Killer 4 decades later. Furthermore, a crucial piece of evidence surfaced recently that desperately needs to be linked to yesterday's grim discovery. During their March 21st press release, relatives begged the community to hyper-focus on late January and the pre-dawn hours of February 1st. That marks the exact abduction window. They also highlighted January 11th, exactly 3 weeks prior to the horrific disappearance. Local law enforcement admitted to regional media that a significant event happened on that January evening, though they kept specifics incredibly vague. However, experts note the family's statement heavily implies a much darker reality. The predator executed a dry run in January before striking in February. This monster actively stalked her, mapped the route, and meticulously rehearsed the breach. This wasn't some spontaneous crime. It was heavily premeditated. Finally, let us dissect the specific vocabulary being utilized here. While announcing the massive $1 million payout, Savannah slipped in a critical phrase that completely flew under the radar: saving a life versus retrieving a corpse. These terms mean wildly different things contextually. Make no mistake, a rescue brings her back breathing, while a recovery means the worst, an agonizing distinction her loved ones intentionally chose. They chose that specific term with careful, calculated precision. We are begging anyone listening out there who might be hesitating or holding on to secrets to finally step up and share the truth. Speak your truth to guide our deeply missed mother back, giving us a chance to either rejoice in her incredible survival. Alternatively, we must properly honor the incredibly stunning, fearless, and profoundly dignified existence she led. Become our guiding beacon through this absolute nightmare. Thank you. Her relatives have now openly admitted that locating her deceased body has tragically become their primary objective. During her initial broadcast appearance following the vanishing, screening March 26th and 27th on Today, Savannah confessed to Hoda Kotb, "We are suffering endlessly. It is absolute torture. I jolt awake during the dead of night, constantly, and within those shadows, I vividly picture her absolute panic." 57 days trapped inside that nightmare prompted Gould to notice her altered phrasing right away, telling the Mirror United States. Eventually, relatives must balance their optimism against the hard facts. Altering their vocabulary shows they are facing reality, rather than giving up their deep affection or search efforts. Right now, this is our exact reality. By March 29th, 2026, an unknown female corpse was pulled from a Scottsdale waterway on March 28th, prompting the Maricopa County Medical Examiner to launch an official mortality probe. Scottsdale officers claim zero obvious link to this ongoing Guthrie mystery. The Pima County Sheriff reports no known link, yet neither declaration serves as an ultimate ruling. The Phoenix Federal Bureau keeps identical agents and overlapping jurisdiction. Officials in Maricopa County stand completely ready to intervene the second these clues require it. Detectives verified Nancy Guthrie's genetic markers using bloodstains discovered outside her main entrance. Her security lens went offline at 1:47 in the morning on February 1st, while her cardiac implant ceased connecting at 2:28. 41 minutes passed, leaving behind these undeniable scientific markers. Should the coroner authorize a match test? Revelations will surface rapidly, though Nancy Guthrie stays vanished. Detectives continue working actively, leaving the $1.2 million bounty untouched. The exact second that Scottsdale waterway victim is officially recognized or dismissed, our broadcast will cover it. Expect comprehensive briefings and professional breakdowns covering details mainstream media ignores. For Nancy Guthrie, Born January 27, 1942. Hailing from Fort Wright, Kentucky, she nurtured 3 kids, attended weekend worship services regularly, and called Tucson her home for over 50 years. Her devoted child completely abandoned a highly viewed national morning broadcast merely to hunt for her, simply because daughters always fight fiercely for their mothers. The guilty party remains completely undiscovered today. Detectives haven't quit, and somebody out there holds vital secrets. So dial 1-800, call FBI anonymously, claim $1.2 million, subscribe, and hit our alert icon. The absolute second we get news about that Scottsdale corpse identity, we will break it to you immediately. This story reminds us that in moments of uncertainty, truth must be guided by patience, not panic. When fear spreads and speculation grows louder, it becomes dangerously easy to confuse assumptions with facts. But real justice demands discipline, responsibility, and respect for the truth, no matter how painful or slow it may be. It also reveals the emotional weight carried by families waiting for answers. Behind every breaking headline is a human story filled with love, hope, and unbearable anxiety. Every rumor, every false lead, doesn't just waste time, it deepens the suffering of those who are already hurting. That is why words matter. What we share, what we believe, and what we spread can either help or harm. At the same time, this case teaches us the value of resilience. Even in the face of fear and uncertainty, people continue searching, hoping, and refusing to give up. That determination is a powerful reminder of what it means to care for one another. In the end, the lesson is clear: stay calm, stay thoughtful, and stay compassionate. Because truth is not built on noise, it is built on integrity, patience, and the courage to seek answers the right way.